Hi everyone, this is Lori here with Lori Hooks. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So today is Saturday, I believe it's January 20th, and it is 4 in the afternoon. So this weekend I have an almost empty house. It is me and my pup Sophie for the weekend. Everybody else went away. My daughter is working at a camp up north for the weekend, which she does videos and stuff when she's there. So she stole the tripod. So I am using a different tripod for my video today. So hopefully the tripod cooperates, doesn't like fall off or something, because I have it kind of scarily set up that if you touch the wrong thing, it's going to fall over. But yeah, so she's gone there, and then my husband and my son went to my parents' place to work on their snowmobiles. So I'm expecting my husband and my daughter back Sunday night, and then my son's coming back sometime during the day on Monday. So yeah, so it's just my pup and I for the weekend, and I thought, you know what, it's the perfect time to catch up some stuff around the house, do some videos, those type of things, stuff that I like to do when nobody's home. And of course, there's never enough hours in the day. Like, it is 4 in the afternoon. I have started this video like 4 times, and I just can't get out my mouth what I want to say without talking about a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff. So let's get on with it. So I wanted to talk about upcoming plans, not even necessarily to do with YouTube, just kind of my crochet plans, my crochet, some people call them goals, that type of thing. So first of all, I want to say that my goals are not necessarily the same as some of other channels. Some of the other channels are, for them, crochet is more of a job. I'm assuming anyways that crochet for them is more of a job. And when I say crochet, I include knitting as well. And that doing YouTube is more of a job, and their goals are based on that. Now, some of their goals might not be. Some of their goals might be more, you know, they want to make certain things or that kind of thing, and that they needed to do it for donation, or they have some purpose to it. But my goals are not that type. I crochet, knit, buy yarn, organize yarn, make YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. I do it for fun. It is not a job. I'm not getting paid to do this. I do it because I want to, and because it's a hobby. I enjoy crocheting and knitting. For me, it's very natural to come here into my living room or wherever I'm wanting to do it and sit down and turn on the TV and start crocheting, or turn on some music and start crocheting something that's, you know, requires some more thought, or you know, watch one of you guys on YouTube and, you know, watch other YouTube videos and sit and knit and crochet. That is my me time. It's a very natural thing to do, to want to sit down and do it. And I do it as many hours as a day as I can, and I do it because I want to, not because it's a job. And I don't want it at this stage in my life to become a job. I have a job. The job that I have is stressful. I am sort of self-employed. I have enough stuff going on with that. And when I want to knit and crochet, I want to knit and crochet just for fun. When I get on here and I talk about my stuff and I do a video, I do it because I want to share with you guys what I bought, what I'm working on, whatever. I'm not doing it to earn something. I'm doing it because I want to share. I don't have yarny people in my life. You guys are my yarny friends. So, you know, it's you guys that I want to share with, and you guys who kind of understand what I'm working on. So, my plans won't be based on I'm going to record these days. No, I'm going to record because I have something that I want to share. I'm going to record because I have something that I want to talk about. That type of thing. This weekend's a prime example. I have things that I want to talk about. I'm just having trouble getting it in out of my mouth and onto video. And I'm getting frustrated with that. Okay, so other plans. So one of my plans that I want to do better is to log projects better. So I did start at the beginning of 2023. I got a nice new notebook with a color that I liked, and I recorded down my old whips, made a nice list of them. And then for the first portion of the year, I did really good with logging my projects. And then at some point, I misplaced my notebook. I'm going to say it was probably around May. It got put inside something, and I just couldn't find it. It turned up probably about 2 months later. So then, because I like the notebook to be in chronological order, I couldn't just start from where I was and continue on. I felt like I needed to record the projects that I had worked on in between, which there was quite a few because it was still pretty crochet accomplishing time of year. Maybe it was in April that I misplaced it. I don't know. Anyway, so I thought, okay, well, I'll go through my videos and I'll know approximately based on my videos when I started and when I finished these projects. And I just never got around to going back to my video and looking. By the time I found the notebook, it was into summer. Summer's busy. Then if you've been following me around for a while, you know we had a catastrophe happen in our house. So logging my projects, that was the last thing that mattered to me at that point. So I fell off, but I would like to get started on it again. I do find, knowing what I worked on, when I started, when I finished it, what was the pattern, what size hook did I use, what was the yarn, all these type of things, maybe some notes to do with the patterns. These things interest me later on down the road. I do find now that I wonder, I had this thing that I made. When did I make it? How long ago? You know, how complicated was it? What was the pattern name? What size hook did I use? These type of things. So I do want to log projects for myself. Now, I need to figure out the best way for logging projects. And this is one of the things that I really want to do and get on over the next little while. Some people talked about different ways of recording what you're working on. Specifically, I watched, and I will link these two below. Rebecca over at Yarn and Pajamas, she talked about some apps that she's used or tried. Unfortunately, the one that sounds like I would like the best is an Apple only app, and I don't have an Apple device. I have Android devices. Abbie over at Blue Heart Crochet, she also talked about an app. Unfortunately, she didn't really explain how she uses it. I would be interested to know how she uses it. If she decides to do that down the road and talk about it, I'd love to hear about it, Abbie. But yeah, that was another one. The one that she talked about was called Notions. The one that Rebecca talked about, one of them was, I believe, Pocket Crochet. Sorry. My pup is just moving from one couch to the other. One of the ones that Rebecca talked about was Pocket Crochet. I don't remember what the name of the other one was because it was for Apple only, and I didn't retain it because it didn't really pertain to me. Although it was a very good looking app, so unfortunately maybe one day they'll have it on Android. Just right now they only have it for Apple. So I do want to find a way to electronically record my projects because I really have no I would like to include pictures, but I have no desire to print out pictures and put it with my paper notes, if that makes sense. That doesn't interest me. But having a way to record it electronically would be nice, because you could include pictures. The other thing is because I like everything to be in order. If it was electronic, I don't think it would matter that it wasn't in order, because you could, I'm assuming anyways, you could sort by the order that you want to see. You could just sort by start date, completed date, that type of thing. So that would be cool. So that's kind of logging projects, figuring out something to log, a way to log my projects that works for me. So that's one thing a couple of things that I want to do. Another thing that I want to do is just record Yarny purchases. Maybe at some point I will decide to inventory my stash. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but at this point right now, I don't want to inventory my stash because it would be a very overwhelming task. But I would like to record my purchases so I know how much I'm spending on the yarn that I buy, or the crochet hooks or knitting needles or whatever that I bought. And so that way I feel more accountable for the money that I'm spending on it. Thus far, I've been kind of just ignoring it and intentionally not being accountable because I didn't really want to know how much money I was spending on it. I would like to, for future though, be more accountable to it and budgeting a little bit better towards Yarny purchases. And then to talk about stash. I would like to downsize my stash. I talked a few weeks ago about finally getting some cubicles to organize my stash and to get it organized. Previously, my yarn was kept in totes or boxes or shoved underneath the desk. But now I have a place to store my yarn and to see my yarn. And now that I see what I have a lot of yarn that I just like to work through it because some of the purchases didn't really make sense. I bought a lot of single skeins and I need to figure out what to use them for. Whether I gift them, use them. At this point, I'm thinking I want to use them or decide whether or not I want to use them. But I do want to work down my stash because at this point, it's not all fitting in the cubicles and it needs to fit in the cubicles. So I need to work down my stash and get it to be a more comfortable amount to me in my head for amount of stash that I have. And to, as I said, to get rid of the things that I really, when I look at it, I'm like, what am I going to use this for? I don't like these colors, or I don't like this material, or I don't like this brand, or whatever it is that I don't like about it. So that's my other plan for future. And to really kind of stop the Yarny purchases, unless I need to buy something for something very specific, or if I have a gift that I want to work on for somebody, that's one thing. Or if I need certain types of colors for something, that's another reason to buy. But otherwise, to kind of stick with what I have. And avoid buying yarn for new projects that I have in mind without working on the projects that I've already bought yarn for, because quite a bit of my yarn, I bought it for a very specific project and just haven't had time to work on that specific project yet because there's just not enough hours in the day. Because at this point I still have to work, so maybe one day I'll have more hours in the day to Yarny, but at this point it is what it is. So I think that is, just looking at my notes, I think that's all I really wanted to talk about in terms of goals, plans, whatever you want to call them. I don't want to necessarily call them 2024 goals. I do want to bring this up again in the future, and it just seems like at the beginning of the year is the time to do it. But, I might bring it up again in between and talk about how I'm doing with it, because I do want to be accountable for my plans and accountable for what I want to do. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. If you want to tell me what you're up to this weekend, I'd love to hear about it from you. And I'll see you next time on Lori Hugs. Bye, everyone.